Hey guys, it's Deborah. So if you follow my channel, you may see that I have deleted my last two videos. They were on the current US president. I'm just going to try to avoid saying names for algorithms, but um I've been praying on this, and I just did not feel like that was the right course of action the Lord was leading me to discuss for my channel. I kind of jumped into talking about it because I got kind of riled up thinking like, whoa, this might be a thing. Is he going to return and all this kind of stuff, which it was never anything the Lord had showed me or showed me to talk about. And with the current US president, I will say he did show me only one thing when I asked or I heard in my spirit, he knows everything. That's the only thing I've ever heard. I have never heard anything else. I've, been given dreams and other things about kind of other things with regards to that, but not about him. And it was almost like he was like, leave it alone, let it go. It's to be let go. So I don't have the answers for that, but I do have answers for other things. I have things that he's blessed me with and shown me, and he's telling me to share those things. So I'm going to go back to just being obedient, following the Holy Spirit's lead, and really trying to pray before I post videos. I got a lot of good feedback, a lot of interesting things people said, a lot of things that were annoying, comments, but mostly helpful and insightful. And yeah, so I'm just going to let that be because it just wasn't where I was supposed to go. And that was my mistake. But I'm fine with, saying I made a mistake and going back and correcting that, repenting and just moving forward. So this is what I'm supposed to, I believe, share. I believe this is the path I'm supposed to go on. So I'm going to read through Daniel 11 and 12 with you guys and catch you up and help you understand where we are today that I believe with regards to the book of Daniel and Bible prophecy and what's happening. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do this in several parts or not because I feel I've been given some revelations, or I've heard other people's revelations, and then I feel like God has expounded on them and shown me more on them. So it's kind of all tied in together. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to just start recording. I'm going to go through Daniel 11 and 12 with you. I'm going to try to cut it into pieces a bit if I can make it faster. And yeah, I guess that's the main thing. I've done this before. I went through all of Daniel 11 and showed people how this relates to current leaders and things like that, in my opinion. But that was a while ago. So I think a lot of people haven't seen that, or if they have, they would have forgotten. But I think it's really important. A lot of people understand that Daniel 11 is like what we're possibly living through right now. But many don't know that. So I talk about the book of Revelation a lot, but I have talked about Daniel and the minor prophets a lot in the past, but not recently. So let's just get into it. Let me help you to see where we are at and who might be the players at play right now that are actually from the book of Daniel. Now, I will preface this to say, obviously, there were actual kings. This is going to be about the king of the north, the king of the south, different kings. But they were real at the time, but there was a prophetic note, and I'll explain to you why it is prophetic and is talking about the end times, not just the current kings. Just like the book of Revelation, the churches, the 7 churches, the books were to actual churches, but they were prophetic because it even says one church will be kept from the hour that's coming upon the whole world. Well, that church is gone. So it must be symbolically talking about the future, clearly. Anyway, so that's what's happening here. So let me go through Daniel 11, 12, and stay tuned to the end because there's just these amazing tie-ins, huge, amazing tie-ins that will help you to understand a possible current timeline that we are looking at for the rapture and tribulation to begin very soon. So, like I said, I do this all through research, prayer, and the Holy Spirit. So let me just get into it now. So I'm just in my Bible app, and hopefully this won't take too long. But let's just start from verse 14 in Daniel 11. If you want to read the whole thing, go right ahead. I definitely advise it, but it's just talking about kings of the south and kings of the north. And I will say that there seem to be several kings of the south and kings of the north. And overall, it would seem that the Antichrist figure comes from the north. And you'll see as we read on, I've highlighted different parts so that you get a better understanding about who's who. And I'll kind of guide you along as to who's who. Okay, let's go.
But the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches. And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. Also the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fall. So the king of the north shall come, and cast up a mount, and take the most fenced cities, and the arms of the south shall not withstand, neither his chosen people, neither shall there be any strength to withstand. But he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will, and none shall stand before him. And he shall stand in the glorious land, which by his hand shall be consumed.
So I shall go back a little bit. Here it's saying the king of the north shall cast up a mount and take the fenced cities. It says here, the king of the south will not withstand him. Neither shall be any strength to withstand him. So that to me seems like we're talking about the king of the north, but it does say, he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will. So this is where I can't really tell if it's continuing to talk about the king of the north, or it is saying there's going to be a new person that's going to come against basically this king of the north. Okay, so that part's not 100% clear to me, but it does seem like this is talking about the king of the north. In no way do I see that this person now comes from the south. Okay, so the reason I've highlighted in yellow is this is a specific person, okay? So this person is going to go into the glorious land. He's going to stand in the glorious land, which by his hand shall be consumed. Now, could this be DJT, the American former president, DJT? Could it be? Because he did stand in the glorious land, and it would be consumed by his own hand because he's the one who started the Abraham Accord, which is dividing the land. Okay, so let's just keep reading and see what we think.
He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. Thus shall he do. And he shall give him the daughter of women, corrupting her. But she shall not stand on his side, neither before him. After this shall he turn his face unto the isles, and shall take many. But a prince for his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach he shall cause it to turn upon him. Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land. But he shall stumble and fall and not be found.
Okay, so somebody in his own camp, it says basically, let's just go on. After she'll turn her face to the isles, okay. But a prince for his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. So it's hard to say, but it sounds like somebody in his own camp will cause people to turn upon him. So that's hard to say if that did happen. But it does make me think it would be him, is he will turn his face back to his own land. He was turning his face to the glorious land, but now he's turning his face back to his own land. He shall stumble and fall and not be found. Several people have had dreams where he has disappeared and he's gone. Okay? That he left in a strange way. It was just so peaceful. It was just gone. Like, not a big commotion. I mean, there was a commotion, but in a way it was like you thought there'd be more fight or something, but no, he was just gone. So here again, I'm not sure if he's called the King of the North or he basically is like his own character, because when you see here, we're talking about the King of the North, we've talked about the King of the South, but here, verse 16, it says, but he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will. It's like he's like his own guy. So that to me is besides the point, but I lean towards he is a king of the South. A king of the North. And now his successor is where you're going to start seeing where we are today. I believe this is now.
Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom. But within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle.
Now, I know I'm not the first person to know this. I've said this for a long time, but before DJT's successor was voted in, I wouldn't have known who it was. So there's like a little person who stays in here, who gets in here, a successor, only a few days. He's then destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. So if this is 2021 we're looking at, then basically, And it's funny, we're in verse 20 and then next verse is 21. I find that very interesting. Verse 20, 21. That's when you're going to see the Antichrist come on the stage. It's funny, right here. You see in the blue, verse 20 and then 21. So 2021. That could be a hint. Anyway, so this person is only there for a few days. Now, my friend, if you follow my channel, my neighbor, who we've researched together for now, like probably 3 years, she's recently been sending me all this research that she's been doing, paper after paper, like taking pictures of all her notes and sending them to me and stuff, on a possible link to the real guy who they're talking about here, who was only there for a few days. I don't have the details on him when he reigned, but he reigned for about 3 months. She had kind of like a possible link to who all these people could be. So basically, I haven't done that study because there was original people. Like, was it Antiochus Epiphanes who they're going to talk about as being the Antichrist? Like, and who came before him? I don't know. I haven't done that research, but she started on it and she found someone who reigned for about 3 months. And he had similar characteristics to this person in verse 20. Now, if DJT's successor, the one who's in now, president now, is verse 20, then he would be in for 3 months. Now, possibly. So a few days could be 3 months. Now, when Daniel's 70th week means 7 years, could a few days be 3 months? That would be January, February, March, or in around that. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think of a couple days being 2, so it'd be like 2 months. A few days to me would be more like 3. And this person that she researched and found was there 3 months. So he was only reigning for 3 months. So my point is, we could be looking at this switchover in March, okay? Or April. Okay, so let's keep reading.
And in his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably, and obtain the kingdom by flatteries.
So here, clearly this is the AC, the Antichrist, and he's a vile person, and he comes in peaceably and with flattery. So whoever this person is, he comes in, and it would seem he would not be this person in yellow or this person in blue, because you'd think they would say, and in his estate shall stand up this guy or this guy, but this guy stumbles and is not found. This guy is destroyed. So who's this guy? He's got to be probably not this guy or this guy. And like I said, it almost sounds like he's the king of the north, but in a way it almost sounds like they're their own person, because the yellow highlighted guy, I said he came in, verse 16, but he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will. So like, it's talking about the king of the south and north, and almost like there's this new person. So like I said, this sounds like a whole new person. That's the vibe. That's what I'm reading here, but I don't know, obviously. But I go with what I believe I was shown. So this person comes in peaceably and with flatteries. So they're going to be a peaceful person and very charming in some way. They must be charming, I would think. And yeah, so that's who we're going to listen to. We're going to learn about now, the Antichrist.
And with the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. And after the league made with him he shall work deceitfully. For he shall come up, and shall become strong with a small people. He shall enter peaceably, even upon the fattest places of the province. And he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey, and spoil, and riches, yea. And he shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time. And he shall stir up his power, and his courage against the king of the south with a great army. And the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army. But he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him, yea.
Sorry, I just paused there. So as you see, the king of the south is coming against him, but I'll show you where it seems like possibly the king of the north also comes against him. So he's basically going to be ruler of the world. So at this point, he may have started as the king of the north's successor, but at this point, he's just now his own guy. This I'm going to tell you, I believe is the first half of the tribulation, the first 3.5 years. I believe it is 7 years. I believe it's cut in the middle by the seal 6, great multitude rapture, and Seal 6, all the stuff that happens at Seal 6, as well as the Abomination of Desolation happens around then, and that breaks up that half mark. And I do believe Satan is cast down halfway through, and therefore the last 42 months are different. Let's just say they're not. He's always there for 7 years, but they're just different in several ways. And I'm going to get into some of that. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get this info to you because I've realized some amazing things. So I'm going to try to package this as best I can, but let's keep reading.
They that feed of the portion of his meat shall destroy him, and his army shall overflow, and many shall fall down slain. And both these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Then shall he return into his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits, and return to his own land. At the time appointed he shall return, and come toward the south, but it shall not be as the former, or as the latter. For the ships of Shittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved, and return, and have indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant.
Now, when I hear intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant, I almost think of the fallen angels, like the Nephilim, like he has dealings with them. And I don't know. It just seems like that to me. Okay, so this purple part's important. Let's talk about that.
And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits.
Okay, so I have many reasons that I believe the abomination of desolation is in the middle of the tribulation, and it breaks it in two. That said, what do you see here? There's and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. So obviously that's what we're talking about here, the abomination of desolation. So yes, Antiochus Epiphanes did this, but he was the forerunner, I believe, and this is the real guy. So he's doing this now, and it says, the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. So you're going to see what's going to happen here. More reasoning, I believe it is after the 1,290 days and right in the middle of the tribulation, starting like what you can call the Great Tribulation, the last 42 months. Let's keep reading.
And they that understand among the people shall instruct many, yet they shall fall by the sword, and by flame, by captivity, and by spoil many days.
So what does it say? It says, pray your flight not be in winter. When he comes and does this, pray your flight might not be in winter or the Sabbath. Woe to you who are giving suck in those days, or nursing mothers, or with child. They are going to still be having babies in those days. They are going to have to run for their lives. They are going to run to the wilderness. And that's what's happening, is they're going to be falling by the sword and stuff, and they're going to be running. But listen to this.
Now when they shall fall, they shall be helped with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flatteries.
So what is going to happen is, what does it say? When they flee from him, setting up his abomination in the temple and declaring he's God, now he's revealed, okay? You have verses that say, this day, the day of our gathering together will not happen until he's revealed. You have these kind of verses, and people are like, so does he have to be revealed? Yes, because I've said the great multitude, I believe, is the seal 6 rapture, meaning he is going to be revealed around the time that happens. And then the Jews are going to open their eyes and see. And they will then be helped by the wings of two wings of the evil, or two eagles. And they are going to be helped to the wilderness. And some will stay. Look, they're going to cleave to them with flatteries. But many will be helped and they'll escape, okay? This fits perfectly like a glove, like a puzzle piece. It fits like puzzles, like a puzzle piece. So Daniel fits with Revelation perfectly.
And some of them of understanding shall fall, to try them, and to purge, and to make them white even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed.
So I said up here, this first green highlighted part, I believe that's about the Jews. Then the blue, again, about the Jews. And then the green here, I think this is the tribulation saints because it's making their clothes white. So there's people who will have understanding and they will fall. And that's going to happen. And that's when you see the souls under the altar. And they don't get their resurrected bodies until the first resurrection, which is the beginning of the millennial reign. If you have no idea what I'm talking about and you don't understand these time periods and all that stuff, I totally get that. I am going to put a link to my video in the description box and maybe in the comment section as well, where if you have not seen it, most of you have, but it's a few videos back where, if you remember, we're walking on a beach talking. I go into how I feel like the Lord has revealed to me this timeline goes with the 3 harvest rapture model, okay? I'm pre-tribulation believing in that, but there's a mid-trib I believe in post, so, or end trib, whatever you want to call it, grape harvest. So it's not that I'm making this up or something I felt like some voice told me. No, it's pure research, just research. And I feel like it's opened for this end time. I feel like I knew none of this. So I truly believe this is why he's shown me this. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, just click on that link and let's keep going for those who know what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do is, he's going to do according to his will. I'm going to read this a little bit. He's going to exalt himself. You know what? I think I'll just read the end here because I'm going to skip over a bunch because it's pretty long, but read it for yourself, Daniel 11. All the things that the Antichrist does. He's going to, have no regard, no women. It says the desire of women, all the things that you've heard about him. And so now this is just him doing all these things. He shall enter into the glorious land. Many countries he'll overthrow and he'll go back to his land. It's kind of back and forth. Egypt will not escape. The end is kind of where it matters. We'll go to verse 43. But he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver and over all the precious things of Egypt. And the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps. Like he's basically going to control everything, really. But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Oh, I forgot to find the place where it says why I say he may not necessarily be just the king of the north. It does mention somewhere a king of the north coming against him as well. It talks about the king of the south coming against him, but inevitably you don't hear much about he's always fighting the king of the south. Okay. So, but at this point there's going to be a lot of probably people coming up against him, but they're not going to prevail. But okay. Verse 44, but tidings out of the east and of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy and utterly to make away many. And he shall plant the tabernacles of his place between the seas in the glorious holy mountain. Yet he shall come to his end and none shall help him. Okay, so basically, the false prophet and the Antichrist get thrown into the lake of fire alive. So that's the second coming. So yeah, this was bleak and it was a little upsetting, but let's just do a quick recap. We have here the yellow. This would be possibly DJT, who was gone and he stumbled and fell and no one knew where he went. And other things in there kind of make me think it could have been him. And then you have the blue, which would be his successor, only there a few days. And if you notice, like I said, verse 21 is the Passover from him to this guy. So that's kind of, this is where I think we are. And then this guy comes in and he does the abomination of desolation. And well, we went over all this. But now what does Daniel 12 say? We'll only read it really quickly just to brighten up our mood.
Daniel 12. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time.
Okay, I'm going to pause here for a second. The Lord had showed me one time to go through this and see every time he said, I think it was Daniel 11 and 12, where it said at that time. So something about that, I had this whole thing that he had shown me, but basically what he's saying is, at what time? At the time that we just read, Daniel 11. At that time, Michael is going to stand up. Now let's put the pieces together, the puzzle pieces. In Revelation chapter 12, when does it say Michael stands up? It says Michael stands up, or there's a fight. It doesn't say stand up, sorry. There's a great fight in heaven. Michael and his angels fight the dragon. So at the time Michael stands up and fights the dragon, we have here all that stuff in Daniel 11 happening. Well, not all of Daniel 11, the parts with the with the Antichrist. So we can place it time-wise by reading Revelation. Okay, the Lord showed me Revelation 12 and Daniel 12 like match somehow. And the way I see that they match is Revelation 12 is a synopsis, like a overview of the Great Tribulation. It's just an overview. It's like it's just plopped in there because you have all these events that come basically one after the other in order. And then Revelation 12 is just kind of in there. But Revelation 12, Revelation 12, guys, is where it talks about, the woman clothed with the stars above her head, clothed with the sun and the moon at her feet and all that stuff. And then you have verse 7, which says, there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. Okay, that's verse 7. I'm not in that book right now, but I'm just explaining to you guys. And then Daniel 12 is kind of like a synopsis of the tribulation as well. It's kind of like they're both kind of like a synopsis, Daniel 12 and Daniel 11. Because if you read Daniel 12 here, it's going to just kind of briefly say everything that's going to happen kind of from the side of the good. Instead, Daniel 11 was from the side of the evil. Okay, so Revelation chapter 12, verse 7 talks about this war in heaven. But if you go down to Revelation 12, verse 13, it said, when the dragon was then cast out of heaven, and when he saw he was cast down to the earth, he persecuted the woman that brought forth the man-child, and she was given 2 wings of an eagle. That's where you see that connection. And she was nourished there for a time, and half a time. So, when he's cast down, he goes after the woman. She's taken with a little help, which is said in Daniel 11, and she's taken care of for a time, and half a time, which is, 3.5 years. So it kind of places you when Michael stands up. Michael stands up in verse 7 on Revelation 12, and here it is, he's standing up. How long that battle takes, I don't know, but we know that basically by the time he defeats the dragon, it's now you're at the point of the middle of the tribulation because a time and half time is left. Okay, I hope that didn't confuse you too much. But let's keep reading because it will talk about the rapture here.
And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars for ever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words, and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
So here we are in that time of the end where knowledge is increased and everyone's running to and fro, but not currently because of the pandemic. Anyway, so basically this was a brief synopsis, as you saw. Like it's talking about people are going to be delivered, everyone in the book, some will come awake to everlasting life, some to everlasting death, contempt. We know those won't awake to everlasting contempt until after the millennial reign. So do you see here? This is not like saying, okay, Michael's going to stand up and then, it's saying exactly everyone in the book is going to be delivered. And then everyone, it's not giving the timeline. If you want timeline, go to the book of Revelation for a more detailed timeline. I've said this over and over. If you want details, you go there. If you want brief synopsis, well, there's details in Daniel 11 about the Antichrist. But if you want details about how this rapture time and this deliverance is going to go, you have to read the book of Revelation, okay, all the way to the end. Just like when Paul said, let me show you a mystery, we will not all sleep. It was we'll be caught up in all this. It was just a brief tidbit to get your attention. And then you have to go to the book of Revelation to see how it's going to take place. Might as well just not just throw it out, the book of Revelation. I don't think you should, but you could if you're just going to stop and say, I don't want to know anymore. Okay. And that's your prerogative if that's what you want to do, but it is a blessing to be one who studies it. I don't know if everyone can, if God allows it, if maybe he's helping me to help you guys, and some of you do know these things. Anyway, so like I said, this is a brief synopsis, just like Revelation 12, they match. One time the Lord woke me up at 12:12, I think it was like midnight or something, and he told me Revelation 12, Daniel 12, they're like together. So basically they are both that. So here you have people are waking up from the dead and all this stuff, but remember, like I said, it says those who, some will wake up to shame and everlasting contempt in verse 2. That does not even happen till the end of the millennial reign. So clearly he's not saying, like, this is just against post-tribbers in case they're saying, see, it's all at the end. No, just no. Okay, so this is, like I said, a brief synopsis. Now, this blue part, it's cool, okay? I'm not going to get into it because we don't have the time. It's its own video itself, a shorter video, but it's cool, guys. Okay, let me stop reading here, and then I'll kind of close out the video with possibly some revelations that I had. Okay, I think I've decided to end this with a bit of a teaser slash cliffhanger because I just can't, it's going to be long. I can't get into what I feel like I see here, but what do you see before you? Okay, this is a screenshot of a part of a timeline or explanation of a timeline that I got from my new friend at the channel Cornerstone Redemption. I have told you guys about his channel. I posted a link to his video explaining this timeline, his timeline, which he achieved through research. He achieved through research and digging, and he is not saying, "Thus saith the Lord." You know, I think it's really, 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 you rarely want to ever say that. It has to be 100%. If you are talking on behalf of the eternal God, okay, you have to be 100%. So he's saying he's not sure, but this is through his research, makes a lot of sense, okay? And I have to share it with you guys. So the first video that I had shared, I talked about his timeline being rapture tribulation date starting in March and ending in I believe it was 2028. Yeah, it must be. And I linked a video. I will put another link in the description box to his original video because this is his second video he's made. And I do want to share this too because it really, really links to the things I've been talking about. He did say we can share this information, and I'm linking his channel so that, you know, it is not my information, this part, it is his. I did have a bit of an extra kind of like, whoa moment on it, but I will share that after. This is just basically a cool part of this timeline. So I've always felt for a long time that the middle of the tribulation would be when that big X is over the United States, that solar eclipse X in 2024. I believe that was the middle of the tribulation, or in around then, okay, when it went over the Salems and all the stuff. So in 2024. This fits perfectly with it starting in 2021 and it ending in 2028. It just fits really well. And like I said, when I was reading Daniel, that it is mid-trib when he goes into the abomination desolation, possibly somewhere around then, and makes it desolate, makes the Jews flee. It matches Revelation chapter 12, verse 13, where the dragon is then no longer allowed into heaven, and he chases the woman and he chases her into the wilderness for a time and half time. That's where you know you're halfway through. All of this stuff fits like a puzzle. It really does, including this guy's chart, okay? So let me share here. What he's saying is December 14, 2020 was that eclipse. It was all in and around that conjunction, okay? That conjunction, you guys, I talked about a lot. This is all pointing at, this is just pointing at it. But that eclipse that just happened, the total solar eclipse across the United States was split by the December 14, 2020 eclipse. So there was an eclipse that just happened, and basically it splits it in the middle exactly 1,211 days. Okay, so how could it do that? From the time of the first eclipse, okay, the first eclipse that happened in 2017, August 2017, to December 2020, which I guess is the time between that first eclipse and this eclipse, is 1,211 days. And then from this eclipse to what he believes is like the, and then from this eclipse to the middle of the tribulation, which is, well, it could be the middle of the tribulation, but when the United States is split in half by that X over it in 2024, I hope I'm just messing this up. Sorry, guys, is 1,211 days. So you can see the chart in front of you. You can pause it and look. Basically, how could that even happen? From the first eclipse, that big one, to the one we just had, which is right in line with that conjunction, which I believe was the second sign of the Revelation 12 sign. The dragon stands before the child and the woman, and that's what we're in right now, I believe. So from that first eclipse in 2017 to this one that just happened in December is 1,211 days. Then from this one to the 2024 big eclipse, that's the big X that I believe marks the middle of the tribulation, is another 1,211 days. That is not possible, okay? Well, how could that be a coincidence? Okay, so he explains it better. Like I said, I'll link his video. I'm going to also link my video explaining the 3-part harvest model rapture situation. that I had obtained through study and prayer, but definitely a lot of study. Like, I do not dream these things up. Nothing's wrong with dreams, visions, and all these things. But when you're trying to piece out the book of Revelation and the end times, that you have to study. It's just what it is to show yourself approved. It's just what it is. And that's, everybody's gifted in a different area. And I have to just, that's why I deleted my other 2 videos. This is where I'm gifted. This is what the work he has me to do in the end. This is the work I have. So it's clear to me, really crystal clear when I read these books, and other people, they're like, huh? And in the past I was like, okay, that sounds like another language, like, Cantonese. I'm reading, might as well read Cantonese, and I don't speak Cantonese. So now it's like completely clear. Like someone has just taught me Cantonese overnight. That's what it would be like. So anyway, this is an amazing chart. Like I said, I have something more on this that I find amazing. But one thing I will say is, does it not seem interesting that I am reading Daniel 11 and Daniel 12? And here you have 12 and 11, these numbers, these 11, 12, 12, 11. I mean, they're kind of backwards, but what am I focusing on? Daniel 11 and Daniel 12. And Daniel 12 is all about our redemption and the rapture and Michael winning. And 11 is about the Antichrist. So I just found that was very interesting. That's just a little tidbit, but I will try to do a part 2. It would be very quick, just on what I'm seeing with this. And yeah, just check out his video. It's, it's his latest one, but like I said, I'll link his channel. But this is just amazing, and I had to share it with you guys, and this is kind of like, I guess, just going to be the first part of my next video that will be shorter, that I just want to share with you guys. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned a lot. Many of you already knew all this stuff. This was just fellowship then, or whatever, just recapping what you already knew. Any questions, leave them down below. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. So hope that blessed you. I feel like I just said so much, and I hope it just made sense. I'm just like in my mind, like running over, what did I just say? But it probably made some sense. So for you guys, like, it made perfect sense to me, but I just don't want to, I want to relay it well. I don't know that I have any sort of gift of teaching, to be honest. I homeschool my kids, and other than that, I don't even know about that. That's, yeah, not everybody has the same gifts, and that's okay. So anyway, I hope it really was fun to listen to and interesting and encouraging. And I think we are in that time. I truly do. Look at it. Like, I think the shift of power from the man who was in power for only 3 or a few days to the Antichrist was from verse 20 to 21. I mean, these little things are amazing. So yeah, okay, we'll leave it at that. And I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I hope you had a blessed Sabbath yesterday. I hope you have peace in your home, and you're protected, and you're staying close to the Lord. And I will talk to you guys again soon, or hopefully see you in the air. Until next time, God bless and shalom.